we like the group of athletes that we have. I think they're high energy guys. I like the leadership that is on our football team, and I think that's one thing that has been continually developed in our program. I think coaches around the country look at ways to develop leadership within their program, and just like you develop everything else within your program, leadership is something that is pretty critical, and it can be developed. And our guys have done coaches and staff have done a great job of helping our players develop that leadership. And so we're anxious, obviously, for the season to start. We've got a ways to go to get through fall camp. You know that the NCAA has allowed teams to come in a week early, which means really 5 weeks of preparation for fall camp if that's the direction you go. It is the direction that we decided to go, and I think there was good reasoning behind that for us. And I think if you prepare your team properly and make sure that you don't drive them into the ground, that extra week can be a benefit and not a hindrance. So we hope to have it be that way. We will have what we call Bobcat bonding every Wednesday. We'll take our team to do different things. We'll take them to a movie one time. We'll just do different things with them that will allow them to do some things together outside of the realm of football. And I think that's a way of developing leadership. There's a lot of communication that gets done whenever you go off away from your building, your practices with your team. A lot of communication gets done amongst one another. You get to know each other better. Our coaches get to know players from other positions better. Our players get to know one another better. I think it all adds up. So we'll try to not overwork them in that 5-week period, but we will have them ready. The weather's been good. I'm not one of those coaches that feels like you got to work your team out in 100-degree heat every day to have them ready for the first ball game. Obviously, heat can be a factor, but if you're conditioned well, and they conditioned great during the summer, the extra week will allow us to continue with very good conditioning. We'll have enough scrimmaging that our players will get used to contact and playing through contact, which is all part of conditioning. So we'll have them ready to go for the first game. We had 2 injuries so far in this camp. Wyatt Shulman and Amir Miller both had injuries that will require MRIs. We'll see what the extent of those are. Hopefully they're not injuries that will require surgery, but we will find out. Other than that, so far the camp has been pretty much injury-free, except your usual sore muscles, those types of things. We've made some changes in terms of what our staff is all about. Title-wise, Jimmy Burrow has been given the title of associate head coach. Ron Collins has been given the title of co-defensive coordinator. Tim Albin will be our passing game coordinator, and Dave Johnson will be our running game coordinator. Brian Haynes will continue to be the special teams coordinator, along with being our recruiting coordinator. We'll be glad to take any questions you guys might have.
Coach, overall, at the end of this first week of fall camp, I guess what has stood out for you early on in terms of looking at, the new guys especially too?
If you're talking about the incoming freshmen, getting a chance to look at them, we have things set up. We think it's a very good recruiting class, to be honest with you, and there'll be guys we believe that can contribute. We'll have to obviously get them more practices, get them in some scrimmages, see what they're all about when things are live, and how quickly they learn. But athletically, I really like the makeup of the class. We're having a young team and teamwork at the end of the practice to give those guys, make sure that those guys are continuing to get reps every day as we go through practice, with the hopes of having some quick development happening there to where we'll be able to use some of those guys. our feeling is that we want to prepare everybody to play. If you're a freshman and you're going to be a guy that can start, going to be a guy that can be a backup player, can really contribute, can be special on special teams, we want you on the field. And so we're looking for ways to prepare our young guys and get them ready to play.
Rick, where do you stand at quarterback? In previous years, you've had training camp challenges for that position.
Well, there are still challenges that occur. I think Quentin has, going into fall camp, obviously put himself at number one. And, the reason for that is he's had game experience and he's played well at times. But there's going to be, we're going to have to do things a lot better on the offensive side of the ball if we're going to get things done. The quarterback spot is a key spot, obviously. I do believe that we have talent there. And with that talent, I expect that we'll play well. We've got to take better care of the football in general on the offensive side of it. But obviously, that entails quarterback play, taking great care of the ball, making good decisions. That's got to be better. We got to improve on that. We got to put more points on the board. That's a definite. And so we're looking at ways to do that. I think I can contribute to that a little bit. We kicked more field goals than anybody in our conference last year. I don't particularly want to lead the conference in that. We've got a great field goal kicker. We rely on him. We had a really good defense last year, and so that played into it. But I believe we got to probably take a few more chances and go on fourth down in terms of when we get in position to where that makes some sense, rather than just settle for 3 points. In 9 games were decided by one score last year for us. We lost 4 of them. We won 5 of them. If we'd have won our fair share of those, we'd have had an excellent season. If we'd have won more than our fair share of those, we'd have had a great season. We didn't win our fair share of them. We had an okay season. We did get to the championship game. We did get to a bowl game. All those things are good, but that's not where we want to stop. I kind of kept going on that, but
What are some other ways you can tilt one possession games more in your favor besides being more potent offensively?
well, obviously it's the ability to create turnovers and to eliminate turnovers. Special team plays a big role. Field position is critical. If you look at how that works out, the team that wins the field position is generally going to win the football game, and that comes back to offense, defense, special teams. We've got to be able to pick up more first downs. We got to keep possession of the ball and keep marching down the field. We've got a great punter. We don't want to have to utilize our punter as much as what we did last year. Defensively, we got to get more 3 and outs. We got to establish field position by not letting them get first down, and then bringing them up short of getting points on the board, or settling for them getting 3 points on the board. So getting better in those areas, getting better in the red zone, both offensively and defensively, getting better on third down. All those things play into it.
Also,
Third down offensively and defensively.
Also, you talked about the Bobcat bonding, something new you're bringing in. I guess whose idea was that to bring that in for the team this year? And then how do you think you can bring that out so it can best affect your team?
Well, Chris and I were going through the schedule prior to giving it to our coaches. They go through the schedule, and then I take a final look at it, and then the schedule is made. It was pretty clear to me that 5 weeks of fall camp can be too many weeks, too much time for our players preparing for their first game, and obviously, if it's not done right, that time is not going to be a positive for you. It's going to be a negative for you. So we wanted to find ways to break it up. You know, if you go harder, you look at game week during the season, you know, you're going a couple days pretty hard, but then that's it. You know, you're not in pads anymore after those 2 days during game week. Your practices get shorter, and so we wanted to make sure that we weren't going week after week of just practice after practice with our normal practices where they're running and they're more vulnerable to hamstring injuries, to pulls, to all types of injuries, and that the game doesn't get stale for them. You know, the game can get stale when it just goes on and on and on. It's rep, it's rep, it's rep. As coaches, we're always after reps. You know, we want more reps for our guys, but it can get stale after a while. So you got to find ways to break that up and not that be the case. If you go hard for 2 days, 3 days at the most, you know, I think you should have a break. Your players should have a break going through fall camp, and that's where Bobcat bonding came in. And we felt that with that, giving them a break on the field, it could also help in developing camaraderie, our guys pulling together a little bit more, teamwork, leadership, all that we think can come into play if that bonding is done right.
Have you had any of these bonding sessions yet?
We have, this past Wednesday, D'Angelo brought in, was spike ball, right? D'Angelo, and he was familiar with that. I think probably one of the best in the country, D'Angelo is at it. Yeah, so anyway, he organized that he and Chris organized that with our players, and that's what we did Friday afternoon. Now, to some that didn't give them too much of a break, because you look at some of those offensive linemen and their T-shirts were wet from running, trying to get to the ball to bounce it off the net. But they had fun, and it was a way to get coaches around different positions than what they coach, you know, and so you want the coaches involved. You want them to get around. You know, I want our linebacker coach to be around our running backs some, and just to have that all happen throughout the course of fall camp with these different things. Just get to know the players better. Get the players to know the players better. Get the players to know the coaches better. That's what it's all about. Because if you're going to be battling with one another, you're going to be fighting for one another. The more you know about one another, the better it's going to be.
That's almost sounds like what you do during bowl week, where they have you going to all these places and all that together.
Yeah. Bowl week gets broken up because they have so many events for you to do that's kind of built in, like you're saying, to what we're trying to accomplish now.
So what's the next bonding session going to be?
We're just going to, I haven't finalized that with Chris, but I'm leaning towards taking him to a movie. You know, we can go bowling. You know, there's a lot of things. Paintball, we can go go-karting. You know, we're isolated down here a little bit, so we get to where you are somewhat limited on what all you can do. We're not in a major metropolitan area where there's a lot of options for us. But I will tell you this, our players have great imaginations, and they're already wanting to suggest things to do on that time.
But no whitewater rafting.
No whitewater rafting. That's exactly right. Yeah.
What are some of the things that the players have suggested?
Well, they haven't yet, but they came to me during this last one when they were sweaty, and it seemed like a little bit of a workout to them on the spike ball. Some of them said that they had some ideas, and I says, well, just bring them to me, and obviously that's what our Unity Council's for, you know, and again, the Unity Council is broken up in a manner that every position has a representative. So, you know, the tight ends, if in their room they feel like, hey, you know, I'd like to get something done here about this, about that in our program, or we can do something a little bit better, and they want to take it to the players, they want to take it to the coaches. And it can start in a position room, and then it goes to the Unity Council. That guy will take it to the Unity Council, their representative, and then the Unity Council will get me cornered. Chris is in charge of our Unity Council. I never go in and meet with them as a coach, so they can say anything they want in our Unity Council meetings and suggest anything they want. That's time for them to figure things out as to if they think there's something that can be done that's better to help our program, and I want to bring it to coach. That's up to them to get that done at that point.
Where do you stand at receiver? Because you've had at least one outstanding receiver just about every single year you've been here.
Yeah. You know, I really like the makeup of our guys. You know, Poppy White, and I always hate to name guys because, you know, invariably you leave a couple out and that's never good. But I'll talk to you about a few guys. Poppy White is a returner. I think he led our team last year with 9 TDs. We are going to utilize him. We're going to utilize his talents. Brendan Cope has played excellent football for us at times. He's been injured, and obviously his career has been broken up here. We're hoping for a healthy season for Brendan. And if you look at his speed, he's got good size, jumping ability, was a great high school basketball player. You know, you have guys like Ian Poppy on the field, and you look at Elijah Ball, and, you know, the list can go on. I'm excited about Cameron. You know, I mean, I'm excited about the potential with our offensive receivers. You know, I think we can have an excellent crew. We're working on backup depth right now. If we can get that backup depth, that'll play a huge factor for us as we go through the year. And I think we have the athletes to maybe have that happen.
You guys have some talent on the front seven to the NFL. So what have you seen from the guys that are coming up to take those the holes that have been left?
Yeah. You know, I like it. I like that group. You know, you look at Joe Lowry, you look at Darrell. They both. Joe played hurt all season. He's finally completely healthy, and I expect he'll have a great season. Darrell, you look at Jake at center. I don't know how many snaps he missed last year, but it wasn't many. I mean, he was just a warrior. He's on 2 or 3 watch lists. You know, I expect us to have a outstanding offensive line. I expect us to be able to run the football. You know, we have good receivers. We have good throwers. We want to utilize those guys, but I want to be able to run the football. So that's gonna be a mindset that we're going to establish. And that when you establish a mindset about running the football, you start with your offensive line. And I like the makeup of that group. I like the attitude of that group. You know, then you fit in your running backs. You know, AJ coming back, Dorian coming off of surgery. Those guys are proven players for us. We got some young guys that we think can also help. So we're looking forward to continual development with some of those young guys to give us certainly depth at the position.
Coach,
AJ was kind of limited in spring practice. So how has he come back in this first week of fall camp?
You know, I think Tim would agree with me that I don't think he shows signs of being injured. You know, I think he's over the injury. Now, he hasn't had contact yet, so that's really the next step, the final step in determining that, hey, we got him back, you know. And so we're anxious for that to occur. I think AJ is positive. He feels great, and he'll be a big contributor to us if he can get through this next season. And we're all pulling for that.
Coach, staying on the offensive side of the ball, last season you seemed to have a lot of success when you kept the passing attempts lower and you tried to grind the game down through holding time possessions, running the football. Is that the kind of mindset you guys are trying to install early in camp? And then what is that kind of?
Yeah, I like possession. I like possession football. You know, so much of the game has gone to hurry up offenses, and we're capable of having a hurry up offense. But we get a number of snaps in a game. I mean, that's, you know, sometimes what you do with those snaps, though, becomes very important. And, you know, you just want to make sure that you're not counting on your defense to have to win the game for you, you know, that you're getting some things done offensively. And If you're not getting things done offensively, then you probably do want to slow the game down, and you want to be able to control it and establish field position at times and get first down after first down. What we'll be as an offense yet in the passing game is yet to be determined. Will we be a great deep throwing team? We have great receivers that can get deep. We have speed. Will we be a controlled throwing team? Will we be a great play action team? We have both play actions and RPOs in our offense. We kind of like to do a little bit of everything. And so if we get really good at it, take really good care of the ball, we'll have the ability to put more points on the board. And that in turn will help our defense. Our defense did a great job last year of stopping the run. A great job, but we got to get better defensively in the passing game. And we got to get better on third downs and red zone. But so there's areas to improve every year in your football team. We as coaches have identified those, and that's what we're all about right now.